So, I am thrilled to have you. I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough for doing this. So, with that, Katerina Koumacheva, it's all yours.
Kouzmitcheva, right?
It's all yours. Take us away.
Thank you so much, Frank. Yeah, first of all, let me also thank you for inviting and for giving this opportunity to share the work. It's a pleasure for me, and especially considering the topic that we're going to cover and about the war in Ukraine and the consequences of it. And maybe it will be wise to start actually with who am I and why
Yes.
actually I was doing this work. So yes, my name is Katerina Kouzmitcheva, and I'm originally from Belarus. Um, for the last 5 years, I'm living in Poland, in Wrocław. And one of the reasons I moved here was because I was admitted at the Academy of Fine Arts in Wrocław. And let's say it was not my idea to stay here. I really thought that I will graduate and come back. But if you know that 4 years ago, 2020, there were elections of Lukashenko president in Belarus, which were brutally suppressed, and that was the reason we had to stay in Poland. And so that's very hard period of time with COVID, political repressions in Belarus, and us being in new country, not planned, started. And I
Do you
think
still
that
have family back home? You still have family in Belarus now?
my kids are with me, yeah, but my parents and my brother, for example, they still stay in Belarus, yeah. And in a way, photography and being here involved in this academic studies really helped me to overcome this period. And photography has become a medium to reflect to everything that is going around me.
Mm.
And it took me a while also to react to those to the situation in Belarus. And just in 1 year later, I made a work commenting all these political repressions and, in a way, criticizing the ignorance of people, because that's what I realized is kind of the core of the problem. I was collecting. I was collecting different proverbs, which mean I don't care, in different languages. And for example, in Russian, there is that my heart is on the edge, or in Poland, it's not my circus, not my monkeys, but all of them mean one and the same, I don't care. And so I visually interpreted this literal meaning. And
Mm.
so at the result, there was a series that was quite absurd. But that was my point, that this absurd, unfortunately, is coming from our life. And this is how we pass this language of ignorance to our kids. And I think that being on this way, certainly I couldn't also escape when the war started in Ukraine. And my first idea certainly was that I need to go there, that it's on the border, to register, to document what is going on, because it's just, I don't know, I can't find the reason why I'm doing this. I just have the reason that I cannot not to do this. And that's the point. And but I realized also that I can't imagine myself holding the camera with the flash, targeting at people who just crossed the border to Poland and photographing. Just I didn't feel this, I don't know, ethically courage to do this. Uh, but all the time I was going at least to the train station here and to Wrocław, to different shelters, bringing myself close and also trying to document where it is possible. Also, sometimes people needed here just, photos for their IDs or to send home. So that was kind of like exchange. They devoted some time to me. I gave something to them. And I think it's only after several months, 2 years ago, when I got into the public school that was closed here in Wrocław. But they opened it just to receive those refugees from Ukraine and allow them to stay there for 2, 3 nights, for free, just to come down, so that later they would be able to find some other accommodation. And when I brought my clothes over there, I just was, I don't know, that something clicked in me. partly because the space, the school was so much of this, Soviet times, something that resonates also with my republic and where I'm come from. And also I saw people there, which I kind of also started to associate with me. Migrants who just left their home, but still are on the way to find their new home. And I think that was the moment when I thought, yes, I know what I want to do and I know how to command this war. And that's how I contacted the authorities of this shelter, asking them to allow me to come there and to document what is going on, but mostly not just as an observer, but more contacting with people and trying to register their emotional state rather than facts. What is, I don't know, how it looks, the shelter, what kind of things they have, not maybe in this reportage style, but mostly more concentrated on people. And in a way, I thought about Renaissance, when all the attention was given to this inner world of a man. And I thought that maybe that would be also a visual language of mine, that I would try to address these Renaissance types, but in a modern way, and also about this like shelter type. I would say that
Yeah.
that was a total disaster.
No, but when you're thinking of which way to go and photograph, are you speaking to somebody else about, what do you think, or is this all for yourself? You're figuring it out yourself, or do you just throw ideas at some of your colleagues?
No, in that case, that was totally on my own. It
Right.
was, in a way, also because of the fact that there was a COVID and I didn't really exercise a lot of documentary previously in my life, because by education, I'm a lawyer, and
Right.
foreign economic relationships, my second education, and in art, I'm just for the last 8 years. So for
Right.
me, it was really a challenge. I wanted actually to exercise this documentary approach from the very beginning, and like pure. And that's
Right.
exactly how it's
Right.
me came
See.
there without any context, just organizing everything myself and thinking by myself. But why do I say that I failed at the beginning? This is the way that I felt, because something that I imagined in my mind that would remind me of this Renaissance times, uh, which in reality mean background that would be, I know, dark, right? That there will be light, that I will have contact with people. None of this worked, because it's a public school coming from that time, kids made for kids. So all the walls yellow, greenish, red. So absolutely like visually no way. The other problem was that people didn't really, what I supposed that they would be really open, because I share the same language with them. My grandparents coming from Ukraine, so every year from Belarus, my grandparents took me to Ukraine, to the Crimea, and that's part of my identity. So I
Mm.
thought that all this mutual history, language will allow me, and also being a migrant will allow me to set this connection quite quickly. No, no, and one guy told me why, because he said that's something that I didn't take into account. I thought that everyone coming there would be united by this strategy, but actually, it's all people coming from different parts of Ukraine, from different social levels, with
Mm.
different background. So in reality, they are so much not united. And that was something very interesting to
That is
observe
so interesting.
also.
I think that is so fascinating that even your social status as now a common refugee with everyone else, you still are here or you're there or below. That's very intriguing.
Absolutely. And for me also, like with this social and legal background, it was quite interesting to observe how it happens that different people to get in one space, kind of also locked in that space, how all those interconnections start to develop. So
And
at the beginning,
just
I felt this tension.
Yeah, and so how is that? I don't know the right word. How those social spaces of higher educated, lower educated, this type of worker, that type of worker, how is that translated in the environment that you're in? Because at this point, we all have nothing, right, other than the way we sort of appear. And now I was in this class back home, and now I'm just like everyone else. So how does that? We lost you. Maybe you'll come back in. So let's see. There you are. Technology. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yes,
No.
yes, now you
Oh,
can. Oh my God.
okay. This is technology.
Sorry. Yeah,
No, it's okay.
going.
No, so how does that manifest itself that we still have these socio-economic categories, even though we're all just living out of one single suitcase? How did that work? Well, how do you recognize that?
Well, the topic that they discussed, topics that they discussed, for example, some of them, started to recollect how they were traveling to Italy or, I know this kind of experience. Others, for example, who came just from the village, surprised to find out some certain things or clothes or brands, and that there is this type of world. But what I find also amazing that as people had to communicate somehow, and especially teenagers and kids who don't really pay attention to that,
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
quickly they integrated and how quickly they actually found this mutual language. And for me, those teenagers were the most fascinating group, also because there was largest part of those refugees were teenagers, females, right, or elderly people. Definitely that guys, they had to stay in Ukraine to defend the country, but the children really has become this yeah, the point when you can see how without all these social burdens and those political issues, people get to communicate with each other. So that was really amazing, and that's gave me a hope that that
Right,
actually it's not that bad. But
right.
that's something that yeah, we have to take into consideration. Maybe I could share the screen.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No,
yeah,
you can be the host now, and off you go.
okay, and let me know if you see the images.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, super, super. Yeah, so that's actually how for in my series I start this work with this table, school table, just taped and closed here. So something that was supposed, this place was supposed to be school or something for kids, but actually now performing completely different function. And that's also how kids are deprived on this education that they were supposed to have at that time. Definitely in this school, in this refugee center, they proposed them to take classes of Polish language and other, drawing classes or something that in a bit of therapy way, but also not also to be so much back in education level. And here, for example, in this picture, we could see two brothers and also their friends. And they, most of the time, they spent in gym over there in school. And for me, they even, I don't know, looked very much similar to each other. At first, I
Yeah.
had a trouble even to understand who is who. And then they just, each time they met me, that, okay, we are the brothers, they are our friends. I said, okay, it doesn't matter as long as you just spend nicely time together. And yeah, those coming from the drawing classes. And on the one hand, I understand that that was super cool that people had this opportunity to get rest a little bit in this refugee, but we should not also forget that that school was closed. It means that it was not in a condition, let's say, prepared to receive people, and partly also because it's school, it was not prepared to have this amount of people and also amount of weight. That's why in this room, for example, you see Polina and her 5 brothers, and this is this amazing big family that came from Nikolaev. And they had a very hard history and life. Their mother died a few years ago, so they came with father, and she is kind of like mother for them all. But also, if you notice in the background, the beds that they are lying on, they are just those temporary, and this is because of the fact that they were on the second floor of the school. And even if you have money and you can afford, for example, buy yourself a proper bed to stay there, you can't do this because the physical weight was not considered for the school, right?
Right.
To perform. So in a way, that's why everything that we see in this school is very temporary, and that's how it was positioned. And this, even today, and I still go there today, it still looks like temporary. You're not allowed, and also it's not physically possible to put a proper things over there, wardrobes or whatever. So
Right.
this is still in the same condition. Um, yeah, as I said, a lot of those either young people or elderly people come in there, and this is Mikolai, who had a really kind of maybe even funny story, because he's super positive. Maybe here, yeah, at the very beginning when he came was more stressed, but he was the one who was cheering up everyone in this shelter. uh, really like Saint Nikolai, Saint Nicolaus.
Yeah.
And he also tried, as in Wroclaw there were also other shelters, so he tried to find his living several times in others, but every time he came back to this school, because it's not only about the material conditions, how it looks, or how you can, I don't know, what kind of bathrooms or kind of rooms you have, but it's also about the people. So in a way, those friends connection that he managed to settle here were much more valuable for him than in other places.
And how
So
long can you stay here?
Uh, actually, as long as you wish. At the beginning, it was that the initial idea was for them to stay 2-3 days, and
Right.
then they were supposed to, I know, to move for other accommodation or maybe to other country. But if they don't have this opportunity, they were allowed to stay for an indefinite time.
Wow.
After 1 year, when they introduced payment, a small but still payment, because that was a time when already somehow all the situation, not that settled, but at least you know where to go or what country, or you're trying to look for the apartment. But not all of the people, even they have money, or for example they work, they found a job, managed to find an apartment in Poland, because also not all of the people want to rent their flats for Ukrainians, especially if you are coming with big family. So that was a problem, and in a way also, um, for the Polish government and people to sustain make sustainable this shelter, they also in a way introduce this small payment, maybe for Ukrainians also to be more responsible in their decisions, not just come, go and back, but yeah, maybe motivate also to for those more serious kind of decisions in their life. But for those who really don't have opportunity, don't have the work, you can stay for free there, and people are still there.
And
Um,
who's managing this? Is this the government? Is this private?
No, no, it's government,
Yeah.
social centers, so it's absolutely yeah, not private. And yeah, that's this gym where the kids spend all the time.
And while you're there and documenting this, what are you learning about the people
That they
as
are
it
very
relates?
different.
Yeah, as it relates to their struggles and their dreams, and go a lot of them wanting to go back straight away, or they know they must start new.
Yeah, that's something that for me was a discovery that how many people actually want to return, that it's not their big idea, to migrate to another country, what sometimes might seem like this. Actually, a lot of people want to return back. And right now, I also see this tendency that a lot of people are coming back from other countries, from, for example, Germany or Sweden, where they didn't manage to find their place. So they are coming back and also again staying in this shelter on their way to Ukraine. And this is kind of also another problem that was for me, for example, working there, as I thought that as long as when I settle this connection with certain group, then I could come and, having already people that I am familiar with to work further with others.
Right.
But because all the time they are moving, so each time I'm coming, even if it is next week, new people, new people. So my work as a photographer, documentary photographer, was all the time from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it's just, well, definitely not like from zero. Several people stayed there, but it's all the time changing. So I had to once again explain what I'm doing, how doing, and to start this, to build this communication from zero each of the time. That's also part of the problem that I find for me working, for example, here there. Yes, again, those teenagers, for example, this is Zura, and he came from Georgia. He migrated from Georgia to Ukraine with his parents, and then the war started. So they had to leave the country, and they appeared in Poland, and he was in the shelter, not speaking neither Russian nor Ukrainian, and only his grandmother was translating for him. And this is another issue actually that was to observe in the shelter. People not only from different social levels, parts of the country, but also speaking different languages, right?
Yeah.
Some of them strictly Ukrainian, some of them Russian. So that was also kind of tension, let's say, that caused.
And when they're having dinner, do people eat together? Does a community, does a society start to develop within this environment?
At the beginning, yes, I could say that. So in this school, they use, for example, gym for just playing, and there was another place where usually all those meetings at school or theater kind of events are taken. So that was given as a canteen, as cafe, right? And usually a truck arrives bringing the food, and people have 3 times a meal per day there. And this is the time when actually everyone is going out of their rooms and coming to eat. And yes, I think this is something that unites people a lot,
Yeah.
sharing this meal together. And at the beginning, even for the Christmas time, they also organized and did I know the food all together, try to celebrate. But why I say at the beginning, because it's really changed after 1 year. Also because people are leaving the
Turning.
place, so newer are coming, and maybe also because it's strange, but also they tend to find some privacy over there, because being in a public school, being in a room when there are 15, 20 people, you seek for this privacy. And
Mm.
so one another place where you can share the food and see more people was working the other way around. So they wanted to kind of like separate and yeah, to have a bit of their privacy. So I also observed in the rooms how also different like the human-made constructions started to appear, from clothes, from this kind of like materials, yeah, trying to separate one from
Hmm.
each other. And I could understand this because it's very hard to see here, for example, like all the time you're exposed to the views of other people. So from psychological point of view, I think that that is a real challenge also for people. Yeah, and that's as I said, there are no wardrobes. They have to have their clothes just on their beds, and that's how it looked. Yeah. So.
And are there any services as far as psychological services, people who are dealing with stress? Do they have that set up here as well?
Yes, yes, yes. All of those services were really provided by Polish people and government. And as I said, that those Polish language classes, different activities for kids, this free meal, psychological, also this communication, everything was over there. Yeah. Right now, it's more about just giving a place, a shelter over your head.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, yeah, the first year, definitely different activities were, yes, given there. Yeah.
Because I mean, you see the range of ages for all these young people. Each one has their own, as they're growing up, teenagers, young toddlers, on and on and on. They almost have their privacy, all these different issues to deal with, right? I mean, that must be so hard.
Absolutely. And that's I found even more hard than just uh, than all those conditions of living or something. That's something that you can bear somehow, or you can adapt to this. Here you can find your own way in all this. But from psychological point of view, that was what I found really hard, and that's why I also concentrated so much on talking with them, on photographing, also understanding this emotional state out there. And this is, once we, before the Christmas time, decided to play a little bit with this photography, because in a way, I also was trying with my photography just to take their attention to something else, right? And sometimes give my camera to kids and they photographed me, or we decided to make this Last Supper, let's say.
Yeah.
Actually, this is, the room where they are having this dinner all together. Yeah, this is how also this the
It would be really interesting to have sort of a school-wide diary, where young people can just write their stories, you know,
stories.
what do they miss most from home? Like, I look at those the boys and girls in that last photograph. Some of them had to have boyfriends and girlfriends that they left,
Yeah.
and now that who knows where they will be.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, I feel right now like as my duty to go there till the very end, especially because of the fact that right now I know that in this part of Poland, Lower Silesia, this shelter will be the last one who would be closed, because all the other shelters, they were refunctioned from something else. For example, there was a business center and they decided to help and gave some space for the refugees. But certainly it couldn't last for long. They need their place to to be returned. But with this public school was closed, so it was not needed to anyone.
Yeah, yeah, good.
So that's why all the other shelters right now, which are closing, people who still need to be somewhere, so they are coming here. And so, and yeah, the authorities told me that this will be it will work till the very, very, very end. But I hopefully, I hope that it won't be that long. Yeah.
But you imagine
But
that,
that's,
yeah, I imagine the pressure that's going to come to a space like this when more and more people need to come, right? The place gets smaller and smaller. Right?
yes, and it's absolutely. I know right now that closer to winter time, there will be more people also trying to find shelter for this like cold times. Yeah, and this is here. You could see here how they start to build those kind of like houses, yeah, from all these towels and everything, just to feel this privacy a little
A little
bit
bit,
here.
yeah.
That yeah, they could have. Yeah, this kind of all this.
And how often and for how long have you gone back? And when's the next time you plan on going?
I've already visited them for 2 years.
Right,
Started from from autumn 2 years ago, and I know that this shelter will still be working till the next year.
right.
Yes, a few months is more, that's for sure. And and for me it was also very important to photograph those school tables, right? Because there are a lot of shelters, and in a way they look all quite similar. But this is something, for example, what differs this shelter from all the others, and that tells us this is actually school, right? So I have kind of like typology also of these images in different classes with these tables, and this is how this dinner place looks. And yeah, people bring in their own stuff, also leaving it there, trying to, I don't know, maybe feel it homely and cozy.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I have to say, one thing we've learned through doing this over these past few years is that the Ukrainian people care very much about being clean and neat and proper. You see that no matter what the circumstances are, and you see it again here. With where they're eating, it's all done just their dignity. They may have lost everything, but they never lose their dignity.
that's true, absolutely true. Yeah, yeah, and there's signs on the walls. And also, life was going on, so someone had birthdays, right? So that's also how they celebrated. For example, yeah, the girl turning, her sister was turning 17, and so yeah, they
No,
celebrated in the
I mean,
shelter.
you could just, see through this, all these little romances that could happen with these boys and girls and, you know, all the normal things of life going on right here.
Absolutely.
Right. It's like, it's almost,
Uh,
in some respects, it's like a college dormitory, or a senior citizens space. It's everything all together.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? When I came to Poland, the first work that I was doing here was actually also about migration, because I found it's very interesting the history of Wrocław, that was previously a German city, and now
Mm.
it is a Polish. And as part also of Belarus was previously Polish territory, and now it is Belarus. So it was interesting for me how this sometimes you stay at one place and it's not people are migrating, but borders over you. So there's
Ah,
one state and then the other. So my work was that I was trying to repeat this act of Roosevelt, Stalin, and Churchill's decision of moving people, and was taking archive images from one country, bringing to another, and projecting on trees and houses. But the reason I'm telling this is that when I was looking for archival images to do this, I was really, they were not accidental. I was trying to read and understand what kind of things helped people to survive all this migration.
mm,
And I realized that those just normal, very basic things, like giving birth to a kid, like religion, like celebrating birthdays, like
right.
weddings, and all this stuff. So and in a way, it's also in this work, I just witnessed the same kind of stuff. So how to keep, psychologically
Yeah.
uh,
Keep it normal.
or normal and healthy, yeah, just to keep to those
Routine.
rituals and traditions of your own, and then in a way feeling alive. Yeah, yeah, and that's this
Yeah,
goal.
there is certainly a book. There's a book in all of these stories.
Yeah, I think that at the end, probably I would love to make one, because unfortunately, let's say I have a lot of material. Yes, for this. Yes, and again, Slava Ukraini, and yeah,
And what is
Poland.
the name of the school?
It's just public school.
Public school.
No
Okay.
name. Yeah, just
Because I
simple public.
imagine, I imagine years from now, these kids will remember we
Mhm.
spent a week there. Oh yeah, so did we, or we know a cousin. Like it'll almost be sort of a little network of people who stayed and lived here.
Yeah. In a way, I had to explain the value of this to them as well, because it's a bit of this Slavic identity that we don't like to be photographed a lot. We're not really open to this. Maybe in a way I explained this to myself that when you try to struggle during all your life and try to have a better conditions, so when on a picture you really want to show that you have it, that you possess this, that you have a better life. And that's why I think it's a little bit deeper, this culture of photographs in those former Soviet Republic countries, that we really want to show off a little bit being photographed. When you are more calm about and more definite and calmer about your life, about yourself, and you take it much more easily. And that's what I find here in Poland and other countries when I right now work, much more easier for me to work. With Slavic, no. And that was part also of the problem, that when I offered them that to photograph, it was, oh, no, I didn't wash my hair. Oh, no, I don't look good. And I was like, it's not about this. It's all just about us and us being natural and accepting what we have. So that was kind of another challenge that I had also
Yeah,
working there.
so we see a lot of photographs where there are no people, nobody in them. Is that part of the reason? You could photograph my room, but you can't photograph me.
Yes. But sometimes also, as I wanted to photograph those tables, so yeah, I just asked that whether I can. But yeah, but also I would say that it's not that all the time they spend over there. They try to find the work, they try to go out, but that's also what was surprising for me, that Wrocław offers really a lot of programs, events that you can just come to the central city. You don't need to spend money. You can enjoy just being there.
Right.
But they didn't want to go. It's just being so much in the stress. I think that they didn't want to confront themselves to other life.
Mm.
You see, so
So
in a
this
way,
is always going to be temporary. I don't want to become part of this space, this lifestyle, this yeah.
yeah. And I mostly was concentrated also for my work just inside, because also to this closed space, actually, how they felt this and how it is really. So I didn't really took a lot of pictures outside, because they were also not outside. Even if they had the opportunity and the weather was nice, everyone inside. I think it's kind of like this protective, not to look that it might be in some other way, but I have my problem and I better stay here. Also, the shelter was famous for the fact that it was one of the shelters who allowed to come with pets, with cats
Yeah.
and dogs. And there was a situation that in one room there could be 2 cats and dog. And that was another amazing thing in this. And this is actually this picture that got into this book,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Ukrainian Love and War. Yeah, the picture of 2 girls, 2 sisters, actually. Their parents stayed in Ukraine, and the oldest one was taking care of the youngest one. Yeah, they're being together.
Yes, I mean that's a story in itself, right? The parents send the children away
Children,
to be safe, right? How heartbreaking.
absolutely. In a way, I would say that after first months of coming there quite intensively, I realized that I myself need some kind of psychological help, because
Yeah.
so many stories came through me that I started to lose orientation also myself. What is how to look at this life, how to appreciate it, and what is going on. So in a way, it's also like kind of influenced my emotional conditions quite a lot.
Yeah, it's something I always ask the photographers is how do you deal with it? So, you go here and then you go back home, right? I mean, it's a psychological weight, for all of you to go through this, to document
Yeah.
and see the suffering of other people.
But also for me, that was the other way around also. They helped me also being being there because I still am a migrant here, right, in Poland. I still experience not like settled my life till the very, I don't know, standard basic way. And in a way, I also could share with them my troubles, and we could resonate with this migrant experience. So in a way, yeah, I was overwhelmed with their stories, but then I also had a possibility to share my emotions and feelings with them, being a migrant here in Poland. Yeah.
And you're by yourself shooting. You're not with any other photographers?
No, no.
Oh,
And I would say that at the beginning, I know when the shelter was just open, certainly a lot of media was and foreign media was coming, covering the events here in Poland. And people told me that from Germany, there was a newspaper or something coming there, also photographing and promising that they would bring back the pictures or something. And they were complaining that it never happened. But after that, it was only me coming there, and as far as I know, no one else is taking any interest in the. And in a way, that's why I feel this duty to continue doing this, because I know that no one else is doing there. You know,
yeah. No, that's it becomes it becomes your responsibility, right?
absolutely, yeah, that's how I feel it. Yeah. But as I tell right now, when I know also the staff that is working there and a few people who still there, I come like really like to family. Yeah, like, hi, how are
Yeah.
you doing? You're sharing all this stuff. So, yeah, that's how it looks.
You know, that's sort of an interesting thing how that happens with photographers, in particular photojournalists. You get involved and then a piece of your heart is involved and then it changes everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in a way, I also try to how maybe it would sound harsh, but keep it separately.
Yeah.
Because work is work. I also have to have some distance to understand, even in this stupid visual point of view, whether it's working or not. So being all the time emotionally involved, it's, in my opinion, not the right place. I would say if I am emotionally involved and I want to help, I would just put aside my camera and just help. I don't
Yeah.
need the camera for this.
Yeah. And
Uh,
how old are your children?
13 and 16.
Ah, okay. So there's similarities there seeing these kids and seeing your kids, right?
Yeah, in a way, yes. In a way, I also maybe it was quite easy for me to settle this connection with teenagers over there because
Yeah.
I have my own here at home.
Teenagers are
Yes,
teenagers. Yes.
yes, 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 yeah. And yeah, for example, this picture is coming from last week, still
Like,
visiting your people. I also see the change of types of people coming there. So if at the beginning there it was a really diverse, but with the time, those people who had any connections or maybe money or who managed to find the job and they moved to other countries or they returned to Ukraine, and other people who had troubles to leave the country, to leave Ukraine from the very beginning, like people with health problems, with mental problems, or just from poor really regions. So they are coming right now quite a lot.
okay.
And I would say those health issues, that's something that is right now the top kind of issue or priority
Okay.
in the shelter. Yeah, because a lot of elderly people who managed finally to move out of Ukraine, they need the support here. And partly they have it, but it's not enough.
And the services come in, medical services like once a month to give people, like their medicines or just get checkups if somebody's feeling sick.
They're not coming to the school, but they have an opportunity to go to those medical centers, and yeah, they receive the number. All of us migrants receive the number here, so we can go there and have this help. But the problem is that the medical system in Poland is very slowly working, and even if you're local, it's a big problem, and for foreigners, it's even a bigger problem. So But yeah, it is like it is. For example, this guy, he doesn't hear and doesn't talk, and they have one room where all those people sharing the same problem live together. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm. And bringing, yeah, those. As I said, that's simple religion. That's something that helped, for example, Polish people to survive hard times and to keep their language. So I feel this see the same that this religion helping Ukrainians here, right, to come
Mm,
through those difficult times, and their national symbols
yeah.
that they bring together with them. And yeah, and as I said, yeah, there are maybe not that many men over there, but those young boys who are still of this school age. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they do arrive there. And yeah, kids. So. And for example, this is 1 week ago, a small kid, if you can see in this yellow
Yeah, yeah, little
blanket,
baby. Yeah.
it's just 7 days old.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah. So that's how, even despite the fact of this tragic and traumatic times right now, life's still going on. And
And does the building have heat for the winter?
yes, it does.
Great,
Yes. That's,
great.
certainly it's not that comfortable, but it's it's okay here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's his sister. Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. People. Yeah, that's the signs. That's actually, yeah, my grandparents from my father's side. They're coming from the village that is near Odessa.
Oh, is that right?
That's why. Yeah,
Okay,
for me, Black
beautiful.
Sea, something. Oh, yeah, that's trying to them trying to adapt also to the conditions that they have, right?
Right.
With all this laundry, sisters.
It is an interesting observation how people find a way, right? No matter the circumstances, they find a way. They've lost their privacy, they've lost this, they've lost that, but they still put a smile on their faces.
Absolutely. Yeah, but somehow they need to, we all need to
Yeah,
continue, yeah,
yeah, you
to
need
live.
to move on. You need
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I was talking about the colors and everything. So you could see it's absolutely far from Rembrandt or any kind of these style things.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite challenging. Also, there are no curtains, nothing, so I can't moderate light there. And definitely, I was not coming with any flash or any additional equipment because for me, it was more important to set this intimate contact and privacy. And additional equipment would just spoil this moment. I didn't really want to be this, like, hard photojournalistic coming and stealing, let's say, those images from
Yeah.
them and going, no, that's not the way I'm working, let's say, at least. Mhm.
They're really very lucky to have such a space.
That's true also.
Electricity, it's safe, it's clean as much as it can be.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah, but you could see that.
it appears that a lot of these people were able to take a lot of things with them, a lot of their clothes.
I think, it's here, it seems that there are a lot, but actually when they are coming and I saw people coming registering for the shelter, it's really just two, three suitcase maximum. It
Right.
just when you have just one bed and you have to somewhere keep your clothes, it looks like, yeah, there is a
Mm,
lot of
that's
stuff, but
true.
it's just,
Right.
it's
Right.
maybe there's just lack of space, but
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
lot of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. And also, let's say also the truth that a lot of those clothes are really coming from Polish people.
That's right.
Um, at the beginning there was even a special one room where we brought things and we could live and share with them.
Right.
But it was it may sound funny, but it was so much help that at the moment they made this they wrote that thank you, no more is needed,
Ah,
nothing, because it was even too much already. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in that sense, I'm really proud of the Polish community helping and being
Yeah.
open to Ukrainians. And certainly they are also tied a little bit right now after keeping so long. You also can't go all the time, like helping. And I could understand the tension that is between right now. But at the beginning, really, that was it. For me, it was all about people helping, not the government.
Yeah, yeah,
Government, let's say, was so inspired by people action that they
yeah.
were following afterwards. But yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, for me, it's all about people.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
aside from the dinners and the holidays, are there any other like special special ceremonies that they do? Like for Easter, was that something else? I don't know if you were there then, or if some.
It was just at the beginning,
Yeah,
really, that they tried to well support each other. Right now, no. I would say right now it's
or transition.
it just yeah, just transitions, living, sharing the space, and going sometimes like here into the yard, smoking and having smoke talks. But I think that right now there is no more energy and also maybe um less hope, or I
Yeah,
don't know how that to put it in the right way. Maybe at the beginning
yeah,
or when you have this big drama, you hope that it would be better. But then during the several months, you realize that the reality of life, that
yeah.
you need to
This is my
find
new life.
the place. Yes, you need to find a job. You need to accept the fact that you're already left the country, and then it's another thing. Sometimes it's much more challenging than
Yeah.
the very dramatic moment, let's say.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, now this is my life, right? It's no more. I'm not in transition. This is the way it's going to be, right? You start.
Absolutely.
It's a very profound word, hope, right? Sometimes at some point you lose hope,
Oh,
right? Yeah, it's yeah, very intriguing.
yeah. And also, for example, for me, being there at school, I also thought that I would find a lot of places, to take even pictures. But actually, as a school, it has it's just a
Straight
cube.
line.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely the same corridors, same everything. So
That
that
that's sort of interesting from a photographer's standpoint
Mhm.
to like you've become one with the building.
Absolutely, and I love actually working with this space, and even the recent project that I'm doing about identity in former Eastern European countries in relation to the architectural heritage, panel block houses. So that's something triggers me because for me it's also interesting that it's us building the houses, but the way they are built, they are constructed, influence how we feel in this. So this urban policy, for me, it's such a strong power manipulation. This is something that I'm right
Urban,
now we
yeah.
are working with and investigating. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
I love, for example, this family a lot. They came from Mykolaiv, and I know the family that really for me became a gate to all of other families. They finally settled here in Wrocław and managed to find the job and to find the apartment. And their story is also interesting. For example, they didn't plan to stay in Poland at the beginning. They were driving with their car to Germany. But she said that when they happened to be in Germany, they felt so much unwelcomed.
mm,
And they felt also like people looking at them,
yeah,
very distant. So not even staying there for one night. they turned back the car, and this is how they happened to be in Wrocław in this shelter.
That's so, I mean, it's so serendipitous, where you could just have one bad event and that's it. Or one good event and it changes everything, right?
Everything.
What I was going to say about the building, you becoming one with the building, I'm sure you know where the sunlight comes in, where the sunlight leaves. So, it becomes sort of your canvas, right? This building, I
Yeah.
must get there. The sunlight is rising. It's going to come in. She said that I could take a portrait of her and her son. It's interesting, but urban planning is really is really a fascinating field of interest for me. I love that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this light, this Mikolai. Yeah, so anyway, I was trying to find this Rembrandt
Hmm.
issues here, and Paulina, just window light and this table
Yeah.
in the background, and her amazing look, and she's a personality, and we have it. Yeah. Yeah, and like also in family, as adults were going for work, and kids were left there just being on themselves and taking care of each other. That was amazing. Like his brother taking care of this 1-year-old sister. That was so sweet. And actually, they made like small kindergarten there, like all
Really.
together. Yeah, as I said, the kids and teenagers. That was the most amazing thing for me, and still
Yeah.
is.
The stories that will come out of this is really fascinating.
Yeah,
What is this boy as a caregiver going to remember? My God.
yeah, yeah. But also, it's a pity for that. Usually, when I take portraits, then I send them a link to WhatsApp or Telegram for them to have and to share with the family. Or I print sometimes also images coming second time, and it's quite often happens that even coming the next week, someone has already left from my heroes, and and the administration desk just has my pictures, just
Yeah.
in there. So
Up
some
to it.
of them didn't even get something from me, but that's how it happens. Mm,
Mm.
nice. And yeah, that's how it looks. In a way, I love this picture because it's not clear whether she just has arrived or whether she is living. And this is how I could describe the state of uh, life right now. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know, you're just in this space, and you're just take the life as it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's maybe
No, that's
that's
yeah, that is really profound work. It's so wonderful to share something so intimate like this because you really don't see this side of it, and seeing that that the Polish people are doing wonderful things when they can to help, right? And
absolutely.
and the human condition of people living together, and the different economic status symbols that they come with and they have to leave behind because now everyone is just the same.
Absolutely. In a way, it's also from the scientific point of view, this is something that you have this small society in one place,
Hmm.
concentrated and concentrated also in space and time, and everything developing I know, just amazing school of life also for me, I would say. And
And how
this,
many people, when it's filled, are in there? Any idea?
yes, 400.
400. Wow.
Yes, they can accept even more, 450, something like this. Yeah.
And
Usually, right now, for example, moderate, it's like 200 people over there.
right.
Yes, but during the winter time or the first days when it was open, so it was up to 500 people that they received. Yeah.
And so most of those people will not be there more than a week, 2 weeks. Is it
This
constantly?
is how this is how it's presented to them, right?
Mm,
But no one make them leave this
yeah.
place.
So it's
Yeah,
some people are there just for a few days, some people are there for months and months and
absolutely. And years.
Yeah.
11 years.
Yeah. I wonder if they the people that are there long enough have their own structure, of organizing, if they need to complain about something or they need something, is there a house representative who says, I will go and talk to someone that we need, the shower is broken on the third
Yes,
floor.
yes, yes. At the beginning here, actually, before the staircase, there is a desk. When you enter the schools, there is administration desk, and
There
people
it is.
from the social center working there. This is their job. And previously, there were also some volunteers helping. But right now, it's a very kind of like simple structure. Yeah, there is a head
Yep.
of this shelter. And there are people here who register and receive and who are responsible for hiring people for cleaning for the meal and for
Right.
different those things, how to deal with the conflicts. And conflicts also happened
Of course.
because people also
People,
drink alcohol, because sometimes they do not get into the characters being in one room, and that's those things, all of them happens
it,
over there also. Yeah,
it's
being
called
them
life, right?
yes, yes, or just those viruses or health
Well,
issues. So that's also a big issue, because well, such a lot of big amount of people in one place, definitely that if someone comes with virus, then it's like whole
yeah,
shelter is in this virus.
yeah,
So that's also that I had to kind of like be careful while having my own kids at home and
yeah, yeah.
navigating and all this. But that's well, that's part of their reality. But definitely all these technical issues and administrative part, there are people responsible for this, and Ukrainians, yeah, have the opportunity to address all those issues to them. Yes.
Beautiful. No, it's great. So your job is you will continue documenting this.
Right, right. Yes, I
Beautiful.
will, for
Beautiful.
sure.
Yeah. The yeah, maybe there's a book here for you. There's something else. Um, you know, yeah.
We will see. Right now, I'm not,
Yes.
yeah, I'm more concentrated on what is going on, and that's it. But definitely, yeah, already with this amount of material, I see that it might be a book, and probably it will be at least like some historical record of what is
Yes.
happening,
And
and
that's
yeah, for the
really
future.
important. Really, really
And
important. So I cannot thank you enough for doing this, for coming in and recording with us, and as you progress and other stories, and if a book comes, I want you to come back and show us everything. You always
thank you so much.
Yeah, you always have a place, on our platform to present your works, and we would love to have you back. So
Thank you so much.
I give you the closing words for your presentation.
Okay, what I could say that I really wish this work not to appear. And I really wish that we would have less job like this.
Yeah.
But as long as the world is going like this, I think it's very important to register, document, to analyze, and to make lessons from this. And I
Yeah.
still have hope. I still have hope that our humanity
Yeah.
will survive in the best way, not in a worse way. Yeah.
No,
That's, I guess, all that I could have.
yes, that's a lot, and that's there's nothing more than that. That's really perfect. So again, I thank you so much for doing this, and you and I will certainly be in touch. And I just be safe, and thank you so much for documenting this very, very important subject. Very important.
Thank you. It was my pleasure, and we'll be super happy to share other works from this region that I'm doing. So see
Okay.
you then
Yeah,
another time.
we just stay in touch. So thank you very much,
Okay.
Katerina.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.